Okay, guys, thank you for tuning back into episode 3. Um, Today, I want to talk about the workplace. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind since I started working at a lot of these big corporations today. You have Apple, you have Chase, you have Walmart, you have Amazon, you have all these mainstream large companies that are probably doing great with profit and margins and building and scaling for themselves, of course. But I want to talk to you guys today about some of the things that annoy me and that have really triggered me, and I hope they're triggering everyone else to kind of wake up and turn around and investigate. I notice when I'm at my place of work and the places I have worked that for some reason my emotional control goes out the window. And I'm not going to blame my job for that. Ultimately, that's me not controlling my own emotions and letting it get to me because of things that I have not healed probably in my past or have not been working on. But I am tired of these corporations asking me for more than they're giving me. I feel like with a company or a job that you work for, it should be reciprocation. Always. That's just respect. Why are you always telling me I need to do this, I need to do that? Yes, there's a terms and agreement that you agree to before you're employed, and that's just your basic job functions. But what I notice, I don't see a lot of people in interviews, including myself. I have to get on myself about this. We should be interviewing them right back. It's always one-sided. And why is that? It's because we allow it. The further I sink into my chair and pull myself out of the focus funnel that I focus my way into, things start to unravel. And I'm seeing that the problem lies within the people. Lies within us. We have to take responsibility and accountability for allowing it to get this far. When you think of the people who run this nation, in our political systems, our school systems, it's just a reflection of the same things at our job where we work, our household, our inner selves. We are literally projecting everything from inside of us outside of us. So that's why I've definitely cleaned up, the way I'm talking to myself, the way I talk to other people. I don't want to be in a complaining mood all the time because ultimately I'm going to be sitting there with those feelings and they're going to keep manifesting or regenerating and coming back up like throw up. And at a certain time, I just got to stop doing it. So yes, you can say or classify this as a complaining little episode. Now, I'm not trying to, but I wanted to get these thoughts out there to make you guys think. Because if there's going to be anything that's going to be done on these podcasts is I want to get you guys thinking. I want to get you guys questioning and going within and dissecting things and figuring a way out of yourself for yourself. So anyway, some things I kind of wanted to talk about with why is working in America so draining? Why is it so draining? Aside from, us having our hand in it mainly because of ourselves and what we allow and the lack of emotional control, and the lack of reciprocation from the workplace. I think when it comes to a place of self-love, I think when everyone gets to that frequency of that vibration to where they love themselves more than anything, then we'll realize, and only then we can realize, come on, that you're not gonna let the same people treat you the same way. Workplace, our government, hell, our dentist and doctor. We're not going to allow ourselves to be in those toxic situations to be manipulated or to allow other people to manipulate ourselves. I think everything at the end of the day comes back to self-love. What are you going to put yourself through based on how much you hate yourself, realistically speaking? You hate yourself so much that you're going to allow a job to drain you and take up all your family's time. I like that. How much are we gonna hate a lot? Like, how much do we hate ourselves? And I'm writing that down because it's deep. To some of you, it's probably not even that deep. But when when you have a busy mind and you're focused on, raising or you just focus on, oh, my job this, my job that, like I am. That's 100% me. Oh, I hate this place, or oh, these people here, and it's just so I feel like a robot. I feel like a freaking hamster. I feel like I'm in a cage. I feel like I'm in a penitentiary at these working places and environments. How much do I hate myself to sit there and allow it to be my only option and my only plan for myself? It looks like I hate myself a lot. I don't feel like I hate myself. Or we go back and forth with that self-love and self-hatred for ourselves. But I truly think, and I'm sorry to keep repeating it, that we wouldn't allow the government we have, the political system we have, the food and all its processed insanity go through our bodies or affect us mentally or physically if we loved ourselves. It comes to that. Do you feel like you don't deserve a good regular paying job? Do you feel like that doesn't cause you any stress? Something you like to do? Or do you just lack the self-confidence to complete the mission of just doing it what it is that you want to do, whether that be start a small business, start painting, or things that involve creativity? Something that makes you happy. Do you feel like it's, if you wanted to get there and start a hair company or build a salon or your own construction company, do you feel like it's too saturated? Has the world convinced you there's too many people? No, they need every single last one of these bodies to continue to pump energy into whatever system that we've agreed to live and abide by. Let's take it all the way back. And I want to go back. Visualize this with me for a second. When in history did we decide to agree and adapt to someone else's perception and follow their plan of how they think the world should be? When did we all agree to be like, you know what? I'm going to follow, and this is for an example, George Washington. Or, I know these are way old people, or Barack Obama. I'm just going to adopt their perception of what our world should be and follow it 100% as if they were my Lord and Savior. Why do we as humans even do that? That's toxic. It's toxic to ourselves. Why don't you just take yourself out of this world and its perception that was created by not even yourself, and get a book, a notebook, and imagine your own world and how you want that to be. Get back to that little kid space inside of you that you so badly need to not only heal, but you want to be in your most comfortable at, because that's your truest probably self at the moment. And get a notebook and write down how you want your world to be, how you want your world to go, and follow it. The world that we live in right now, where everyone on a mass scale is doing the exact same thing as a collective. No, I think it was meant to be maybe split up. I really do. The way I said it is hilarious. But no, I've started to break myself away from it. It is hard because it almost feels like it's mind control to stay and do what everyone else is doing. And it's comfortable because we're so used to it and we're programmed to do that. It's damn near in our DNA to just be like a whole cattle of freaking cow or a whole flock of sheep. Just do. Let me eat this grass. Let me go over here by this pond. Let me take a crap over here by this tree. Let me procreate with this other cow. Are you a cow? Are you a herd of cow? No, you're way more powerful than that. You're an individual with a whole external and internal world with and around you. And if you wanted to create your own reality, you should and you can. You need to get a notebook. There, Walmart, couple cents, or a whole thing of paper, whatever you can get. Or if you're more technological, whatever, get your phone notes out and start like how the Bible starts. I'm not asking you to, please don't take this out of context. I'm just giving you something to go by. How does the Bible start? In the beginning, he created this, he created that. That's how you need to start your notebook about the life that you want to live. It doesn't have to be, to that, start that way. But for example, how I would do it. Definitely, I would start with some affirmations to remind myself of who I am and the power that I have and hold. And then how protected and loved I am, and remind myself of that. So that way I can boost my confidence really quick, give refresh myself of energy and confidence. And then I'd go into declaring and manifesting and speaking into existence the life that I want to live and the life that I want to have. Write it down to the very most important detail and realize that the details that you skip will be skipped in actuality. So you want to make sure it flows, and you want to write it in a way to where you can visualize it. Sometimes I'm surprised, do we even have technology out? Well, probably in secret somewhere, to where you just throw all your thoughts on paper, throw all your thoughts in notes, and it come true like a storybook. You see all these great accomplished artists and these movie directors making these excellent films. Be your own director and direct your damn life. Direct your life. Steer away from the mayhem. Steer away from everyone else's perception. It's so important to really think about that. Think about how you're living someone else's story. And it's not even your own. It's not even your own. You're just listening and have done what you have been doing for the last, 20, 30, 15, however old you are, the last years that you've been alive. And then when you came into this world, you adopted everything and grabbed it's like your parents handed you the baton of all their accomplishments and problems. And so you're running with that same shit. You've not taken a breath and before getting handed that baton, figuring out what it is that you want to do. What your parents have planned for you does not have to be your plan. It can be considered because, of course, they're going to want the best for you. But do they even have the best for themselves? And that takes me back to accepting advice. Of course, from a young age, we're not going to be like, hey, mom, hey, dad. No, thank you. Don't want to listen to your advice. Yeah, they're going to show you how to avoid things and maybe show you some shortcuts. But is the end goal where you want to be? Is that where you want to be? Or is it where they think that you'll be the safest? Stop letting other people control your life and stop taking the easy way out. Let's touch on that for a second. And everything I'm telling you guys, I'm talking to myself too, because I need to hear this on a daily basis to remind myself. Well, don't slip back into someone else's perception. What have you created for yourself? And I know it sounds easier, and I'm easily spewing this out right now because it just sounds easy. Easily just turn that off and just let me build my own world. It sounds like a fairy tale. It sounds probably a little crazy to some of you. But maybe you need to go to the crazy side a little bit to snap out of it. Maybe it's not a crazy thought to even consider something like this. Maybe you're just so deep into someone else's perception that you think everything outside of that is correct or incorrect. That it's insane. You've let people convince you that you're going to hell or that you're going to heaven based off of their perception of a possible book that they read. And that's no dish towards any religion. If you're going to read the book or whatever book, the Quran, the Bible, get into Buddhism or whatever, read it right. A wise man and a woman, but in this context, I'm going to say a wise man knows that before making a decision, You have to hear and understand many decisions. You have to read more than one book. And I feel like a lot of people are so one track minded. They hear one thing and they take it for gold. And it's like, what does that do you any good? How does that do you any good? It's so much more than you out there. Are we that selfish to see only us? Are we that dedicated to someone else to only hear one opinion? Ask yourself that. Now, asking yourself these questions will probably hurt your feelings, because what it's going to do, it's going to shake up that ego, and that pride's going to get in the way. Oh, what does she know? Or, I don't need to do that. This feels right. Whatever kind of candy coating you want to put on it. But you have to ask yourself these questions in whatever order you feel comfortable. So, and that takes me back to, let me refocus on, what today's conversation is. Why is working in America so draining? It starts with you. If you want to do something different, you can yield different results. But what is mind-boggling to me is how time and time again, we're pressing that same button expecting something different. That's insanity. You're out here thinking that everyone else is insane, that these people do tons of drugs on the street and live under a bridge and stuff. Like, you think they're insane. You're insane. You're living in someone else's perspective. That is like you living in someone else's house. You just walking right in with the key that you found and living side by side with someone you don't even know, or living in someone else's house, but paying for it. Don't you want your own privacy? Don't you want to do and live how you want to live? No. Or are you just so consumed by social media and how people see you? Do you hate yourself that much? Do you hate yourself that much? I think I'm going to have to change the narrative of this episode, the title, to do you hate yourself that, like, so much? Do you hate yourself that much to where you can't love yourself enough to protect yourself, control your emotions, put yourself first, take care of your health, make sure your job is reciprocating the things that you need? Clearly, here in America, we must hate ourselves. And this is nothing new. I'm sure every other country can see that. But I'm sure those countries hate their stuff as well, on just a different scale. Wake up, people. Let's go ahead. Let's get the crust from around your eye, and let's wake up to your own reality. Let's start by going out and getting some notebooks, or just starting with your head. Come on, I know that is a lot of people who have this spell of procrastination on them. I fall into it every once in a while again, and it's okay to start within your head, but eventually you want to get it on paper. You want to write out the life that you always wanted for yourself. Write it out and visualize it. Take a bath, think about it. Take a hot, deep shower and think about it. Yearn for it. Put emotion behind it, and then forget about it and make it happen. Say it. Speak it out loud. I guarantee you, just doing this step, some things, even if they're small, are going to change for you guys. Things have already changed for me. I can be the procrastination queen sometimes. I want so much for myself, but it always comes down to that ladder, that teeter-totter of how much do I love myself to even try it and do it? Or am I going to stay a slave to our government, stay a slave to my workplace, and stay a slave to what people think of me? You got to get a little angry. It's okay. Just don't stay there. But when people try to bottle up that anger or bottle up that sadness, bottle up that happiness, sometimes you got to let it rip. Get mad and love yourselves. But I understand you have to probably get mad at what you've allowed for yourself thus far. We deserve better. You guys deserve better. And so I'm going to wrap it up and end it here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I also appreciate you guys for listening to the last podcast of the love of self or forgiveness of self. Today, I wanted to focus on, like, why do we hate ourselves so much? Next podcast, I really don't know what that's going to be about yet. I try to meditate on what I want to speak to you guys about based off its importance. I watch a lot of other people's videos, and I don't, not to say that to say I copy them or anything. I watch it to see how they explain it and where I can re-explain it in a way for different minds, or pick up the things that I felt like they probably left out and it would have been beneficial to include. So I hope I'm making sense to you guys, and this makes you question and think and get the juices flowing, or whatever you want to say. But appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode 4, and I'll talk to you soon.